Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this pretty unique handmade embroidery dress. And guys, this is actually my third try at embroidery. My first try was a complete disaster. But just look at what I've been able to do with my second try. Anyways, let's move on. So guys, the tools you'll be needing are your embroidery hoop to keep your fabric firm while you're working, your rhinestone applicator, your glue gun, and a really big sized needle like this, and a cotton thread like this, or a woolen thread like this, although I'll be using this woolen thread for my own dress. And of course, you can get these tools from @sewing tools on Instagram. But first, let's start with drafting the pattern for the dress. So guys, this is the extra long and extra wide pattern paper I talked about in my video last week. So since it's a long dress, I'm going to be using this pattern paper to make this dress. So this is my full complete pattern traced out from my basic bodice block. If you don't know how to draft this, please check out the tutorial link right on top of your screen right now. So I actually wanted to have my dress looking full and complete without any cuts at the waist, but the problem is that the fabric I'm using for this dress is kind of in pieces. So if I cut it full length, like what this pattern looks like, it won't be enough. That is, the fabric won't be enough, which is why I'm going to be cutting this at the waist. So if your fabric is not in pieces like mine, you really don't have to cut it at the waist like I'm going to do. Also note that there are no darts on this pattern as it is now, because I don't want to have dart lines on the dress. I don't want to have the waist dart, the normal usual waist dart. I don't want to have it on this dress. The only darts I want to have are my bust darts, which I'll be adding to my pattern soon. Now this is the lower part of my dress, so I'm just going to blend this sharp point at the hip right here, and then after measuring how long I want my dress to be, at the hem right here I'm going to measure in 1.5 inches or 1.5 inches to give my dress a pencil shape. You can also do more than 1.5 inches depending on how tight you want the pencil shape to be. Then I'm going to connect back to my hips. Then after that, I'm going to be adding my allowances, 1 inch fold allowance at the hem, 1/2 inch at the waist, and 1 inch for the side seams, and that's all for the bottom part. Now this here is the upper part of my dress. So I'm going to be folding in the zip allowance in the middle here, because I'm not going to be needing it for the front part of my dress. Now you can see that I already did my drafting, so what I'm just going to do now is to explain all the things that I've done on this paper. So first things first, I traced out this pattern from a pattern that is supposed to have a sleeve attached to it. So because of that, I'm going to have to raise I already raised it though, so I raised my armholes by 1 inch so that it won't be too wide, because this dress is a sleeveless dress. Then you draw a new armhole back to your shoulders like I've done here. Then once you're done doing that, you measure how you want your neckline to be. So at my shoulder point here, I measured in 2 inches, and then I used my French curve to draw an asymmetrical neckline to the other armhole, and that's what I have here. Then the remaining part above this line I'll trace out on another paper and cut on another type of fabric. You'll see that as we go and as we move on with this tutorial. Remember to also reconnect your armhole from here back to your shoulder point. Then for the bust darts, you have to first locate your bust point, and I already transferred that point on my pattern right from the beginning when I traced this pattern from my basic bodice block. Then at the side here, you mark out where you want to place your dart and measure a 1-inch dart intake. Once you are done with that, you then draw your dart lines to your bust points. Now, just so that I won't have a sharp point here when I'm sewing, I'm going to reduce my dart line here by 1/2 inch, and then you reconnect to the side. And these are my completed bust darts right here. So I'm going to trace this upper part on another piece of paper like I mentioned earlier, and this is my new raised armhole here, and then this is the basic round neckline for this upper part, and then I'm going to be marking this A and this one here B because they are two separate. So the back pattern will be your normal basic back bodice block. Now, because of these bust darts, I'm going to have to attach another paper at the hem here so I can add my 1-inch dart allowance. This is very, very important so it won't shorten the half length of my dress, and then you connect back to the middle here, and then you do the same for the other side. So I'm going to do that now, and then I'll show you what everything is going to look like. So once I cut this on my fabric and sew in my bust darts, the waist will return back to its normal shape and length. So this is that traced out A part, and this is the B part. I'm going to be cutting this B part from this scuba fabric and this A part from this ruffled chiffon fabric. This is my basic back, and this is my this is the lower part for the front, and this one here is my lower part for the back. That is the skirt part for the back. So yeah, and then I was thinking I would add the kind of slit like what I have in this sketch right here, but then I later decided not to because the dress will no longer be church friendly. So if you want a slit on yours, just draw in the shape of your slit and how high you want it on your pattern before cutting it out on your fabric. And now I'm just going to cut out my front upper piece right now. So this is how I'm going to be joining all of the pieces together. I'm just going to quickly finish up the edges of this ruffled chiffon right now because it's kind of delicate and I don't want all the threads holding it together to fall out. And then after that I'm going to join the two upper parts together, and then also join the lower skirt part to the waist, and then I'm going to use a bias tape to finish up the edges of the neckline and the two armholes. So I'm just going to do all of that now, and then I'll show you. So this is my front piece, all sewn and neatly ironed flat. Then you also do the same for the back piece. Fix your zipper and iron all your seams flat. And so these are the design marks I'll be following for my embroidery. So after marking my design, I already showed it's already clear enough because I've been handling it since. So you start embroidering. So you fix your embroidery ring. This is my embroidery ring. It has like two hoops. You can call it an embroidery ring or an embroidery hoop. It has like two hoops. There's one underneath, you can see, and this one is above it, so it keeps the fabric really firm and tight so that when you embroider everything keeps like being neat and stuff. So yeah, now I'm going to show you how I embroider this, although I'm not yet done. So I'll show you how I embroidered this. So this is the thread I used. It's kind of woolly, although there are other types of threads. This is not the only type of thread you can use. So the embroidery bit is basically just working with your running stitch and back stitch at the same time, like I'm doing right now, and then you use that, the two stitches, you use that to form a circle. Once you are done with that, you then sew in the stitches I'm working on, the one I'm doing right now, till the inner part of the circle is filled up. And that's it really. This took me a little bit over 5 hours to make, but the end result is actually worth it because it's very satisfying. Now I'm going to be attaching my rhinestones in between the circles, in between the embroidery circles with my rhinestone applicator. So first I'm going to fix in the type of mouth tip that fits the size of my stones. You can see there are different mouth tips there, so you just pick the ones that ones that works best with the size of your stones. Then I'm going to plug it in and apply my stones just like I'm doing right now. And that's it guys, all there is to it. I'm already done with my embroidery and all of that. So you can get the embroidery ring or hoop, whichever one you want to call it. You can get it from at Top Sewing Tools on Instagram, and also the stone applicator that I used to apply my stones on it. So the embroidery hoop is just to help you keep your fabric firm and neat when you're trying to embroider, so that your fabric doesn't distort when you're embroidering your dress. And then the stone applicator, it helps you easily put the stones in between all of this, so it's easier for you to do. If you use an iron, you won't be able to exactly place an iron on top of all of this. It won't be easy, but if you use this, you just use this to apply your stones right in the middle easily. So yeah, if you have any questions concerning today's tutorial, please type it in the comment section and I'll reply as soon as I can, guys. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, now is the time to do so. So please hit the subscribe button, tap the like button if you found today's tutorial helpful, and turn on the notifications bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming tutorials when I post them. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.